Hi there, I'm Tim de Man, composer, and I've had the pleasure to work with a new game studio called Noodlecat on their new project CLOUDHEIM. CLOUDHEIM is an action RPG, it's just been announced. In this video I'd like to talk you through the music that I made for the trailer, how we developed the style for the game, how we translated that into a nice big and epic trailer sound. So in 2023, Noodlecat approached me to write that soundtrack. Writing for a fantasy action game like this has been a dream of mine, as the many Zelda covers and Zelda-inspired original work on this channel can show you. And being able to finally apply myself to such an ambitious project has been very exciting. CLOUDHEIM's music advisor Jess and its audio director AJ have helped tremendously to shape the style of the soundtrack with their advice and feedback. They were looking for a non-standard fantasy style. My affinity for Western folk music was our starting point, and of course, because I'm a big nerd, my music is automatically imbued with game soundtracks, like Breath of the Wild, Heroes of Might and Magic, The Elder Scrolls, Final Fantasy. There was already a nice and eclectic start as a basis for our sound. Of course, a trailer is something of a different beast, because with a trailer you really want to kind of grab people's attention right away and make it big and sweeping and all that kind of stuff. We wanted to try to use the style that we developed as the basis for the trailer and then start building it up from there. We wanted to avoid the standard trailer sound, give it a little bit more of our own flavor. So I'm going to show you, I hope you enjoy, let's go! So this is the project file for the trailer music, and it's going to be a lot of layers, so I've tried to break it down for you. So the first 4 groups we have here are like the standard symphony orchestra, so woodwinds, brass, strings, and percussion. And everything below that is more of my own trademark instrumentation. I'm going to show you all of that. Maybe it's nice to first have a listen to the entire thing. As you can hear, there's a lot of stuff going on, and going through these layers you realize that there's even more stuff going on than you can initially pick out. I really love writing super layered music, and trailer music in general is already more layered because you're trying to get the energy up. So let's break it down. So the ensemble that we landed on as a basis for the entire game is more of a Celtic Western folk ensemble, something that I love working with, that I work with a lot. I try to play those instruments in live here in the studio. So the basis for this piece of music is performed live, and then everything that I can't play is added with virtual instrumentation. But having a basis of live instruments really helps making the virtual instruments sound more alive as well. So first let's take a small listen to the live instrumentation that I played, which you can see here, which is the drums and the guitar and stuff like that. So you can hear mandolin, there's darbuka, djembe, guitar, whistle, of course. Toot, 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 toot. Some of these parts were initially played by live instruments and then later replaced with virtual instrumentation. Even got some accordion in, which is always tricky because the accordion has a lot of pirate connotations and stuff like that. It's also in Celtic music, so try to keep it tasteful. So that's our live ensemble. Based on the advice of Jess and AJ, I've added a lot of bells to the sound to make it nice and light. So there's many bells going on here. There's some synthesizer bells, but there's also gongs, gamelan, singing bowls, kalimba. It's not really a bell, of course, but it serves the same function. Dulcimer and zither as well, to kind of give it more of a light and rhythmic mood, to prevent it from becoming too heavy. So let's take a listen when those are added in. So there's stuff swirling around, giving more color and giving more energy to the entire thing. What's fun is that some of these subgroups can actually carry a piece of music on their own, more or less. So if you just play the bells, it already sounds like a thing. Lots of stuff going on, as you can hear. I always love adding stuff to an arrangement. Of course, the challenge then becomes later in the process to mix that all together in a way that isn't like super confusing for the listener. Like for the actual game music, I deliver my compositions in layers as well. So AJ, the audio director, can implement these pieces of music dynamically. It's also nice to sometimes hear these layers separately in the game. Let me show you the percussion separately as well, because a lot of stuff is going on at the same time there as well. Some of that's live, the drum kit is live, the darbuka, djembe are live, and there's some small percussion here, shaker and beat ring, that's live. The rest is virtual. Gotta have shaker. I really enjoy playing percussion, as you can hear. So darbuka and djembe just ramming away here in my in the studio with the drums added. I'm going to play the track without the orchestra stuff, so you can kind of hear how it all comes together before we started trailering it up. So the live ensemble with all the bells and the bowls and added percussion. This is a cool piece of music, but it's not particularly trailer-like. So how can we take this nice folky light piece of music and make it suitable for a trailer that like grabs your attention right away and also doesn't sound too weird next to other trailers without going into the super processed and kind of the stressed sound that I personally don't really enjoy. So what we did was we started adding orchestral instruments. Even though for the game itself we try to avoid orchestral instruments because it pushes a little bit too much into the standard fantasy direction. But for the trailer we wanted to play a little bit more into the, hey, this is a fantasy game sound. So that's what we tried. So first I added a string ensemble. That already gives it a little bit more depth. I started adding some orchestral woodwinds for a little bit more punch. Gotta love those piccolo trillers. That also helps to give it more scale, that you have the feeling that there's a large group of musicians playing and that this game is, in fact, a big deal. And then, of course, the star of the show, if you want to epic it up, is the brass. So for the brass, I tried not to go full Star Wars. So I tried to push more into a, let's say, a Zelda trailer direction with it. So a little bit more color, a little bit more playfulness in the brass. I do really enjoy writing orchestra stuff like this. Going a bit more into threatening territory. So I think ultimately we ended up with a piece of trailer music that's true to the game, but also has that big trailer feel without going too much overboard, at least in my opinion. It's got all kinds of earworms. Many of these themes are, like all of these themes are from the game. So you will hear these themes as you will playing the game later in the year. So if you end up playing the game and you enjoy it, you might go back to the trailer and think, hey, that part of the trailer music is from that piece of music in the game. So I hope you agree. Do let me know what you think about this piece of music and what you think about the trailer. And do check out CLOUDHEIM. It's shaping up to be something really cool. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.